Greetings and welcome into the Sports Shuffle. I am recovering from illness, flying Ryan Gilchrist along with.
Tampa Motor Mouth, Joel Verone. Would there be a hacking Ryan flying Gilchrist tonight? Or
Yeah, some coughing, some sniffling. I'm going to try not to cough in the microphone. I have a mute button. It does work. So hopefully we're not going to hear too much of it. But yeah, it's been a couple of days. It's something you just got to get through. I usually get sick this time of year, and we're going through it right now. So we are going to talk about that epic, and I do believe the best ever Thursday night football game.
The game that I cannot believe I ended up getting right, because with how that game started out, right? With how sluggish that Seattle offense was, and you just had, Rams field goal. Seattle can't get anything going. Rams field goal, and you're going, this one is going to be over early, isn't it?
Yeah, it looked like it was going to get. I mean, it was 30-14 at one point late in the game, and we just thought, okay, this one's over. This one's not going to be competitive. There was that pick by Sam Darnold, and we thought game over. Rams ended up having to punt. Rashid Shaheed returns for a touchdown, and the energy in the building just flipped, and they get it done.
Yeah, because at that point that you mentioned before, Shaheed, Seattle had about 2% chance of winning the game.
I think they said 3% chance on the broadcast after that Sam Darnold's red zone pick. It just wasn't a good situation until it was. And all of a sudden, Seattle looked like a different monster entirely. They were going to be dominant on the offensive side of the ball. They had 3 straight 3-and-outs. This was a dominant performance in the fourth quarter by Seattle. It goes to overtime. They end up winning 38-37. Both teams getting a touchdown. The second team to get it was Seattle. They go for 2 and convert. Wasn't the craziest 2-point conversion in this game. We'll talk about that a little more in depth. But the Seahawks winning 38-37. The stats in this one are out of control. If you're in the playoffs and you had Matthew Stafford, you are off to a very, very good week.
Imagine a stack of Stafford and freaking Nakua. Oh, my God.
I don't have to imagine it. I've got a league where I'm fortunately on the other side of the bracket. I'm probably going to lose because I had Kyron, the kicker for Seattle, and I played Kobe Parkinson. So not off to a great start. We'll see if things can still happen.
Is that like when you have two good players and everybody else?
Yeah, I need the Burrow Chase stack to go absolutely nuclear this weekend. We'll see if that happens. But yeah, they put up in a standard league about 80 points. Stats: Matthew Stafford 29-49 for 457 yards and 3 touchdowns. Kyron Williams, man, you got to get a touchdown. 23 carries for 70 yards. Didn't do a whole lot in the receiving game, 3 for 15. Blake Corum, 14 carries for 48 yards and a touchdown. But the big story was Puka Nacua. He was a big story going into the game for all the wrong reasons. But out of this game, 12 catches on 16. Yeah, 12 catches on 16 targets, 225 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He put up a monster fantasy performance in the semifinals. If you got him, you're happy. If you're against him, you're probably not so happy. Let's go to the Seahawks. Sam Darnold.
The one good thing.
Go ahead.
The one good thing about being in the consolation brackets is not having to care.
Yeah, if Puka's under consolation bracket and he goes against you, so be it. I'm still alive in the Mega Bowl, and I've got Puka Nacua. So I might get advanced to the final round. That would be nice. I don't know if winning is realistic because, being the number one player out of 20,000, maybe that's inherently difficult. But still alive looks realistic. For the Seahawks, Sam Darnold, 22 of 34, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. The interceptions were early, the touchdowns were late, and that was a big one. 270 passing yards. They did have a couple of 2-point conversions. Ken Walker, the running back of choice this one, 11 carries for 100 yards and a touchdown. Also was their second lead receiver, 3 catches for 64 yards. Zach Charbonnet did get a touchdown, but only 9 carries for 32 yards. Jackson Smith and Jigba had a shutout in the first half, but 8 catches for 96 yards and a touchdown, the overtime touchdown as
Only the
well.
second half was as good as the first half, or rather the opposite, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, you had the two best performing players in the NFL at wide receiver going head to head this week. And Puka Nacua is definitely the better of the two this week, but they both had a good performance in prime time. A.J. Barnett had a touchdown, 4 for 49 at the tight end position. He was a better play than Colby Parkinson. With the
Okay,
result of this, the
what did you think?
Seahawks are the Seahawks are 12-3. They take over the 1 seed. The Rams fall to the 5 seed. I'm pretty sure I know what your question is, but go ahead.
What do you think was the whole thing with the whole crazy review? Zach Charbonnet just lighted up, picking up the ball. All of a sudden, review awarding a very crucial 2-point conversion to the Seahawks. Absolutely insane. Backwards pass. What was your whole take on this whole sequence that was just everybody is still trying to process it?
I think it's something that's going to prompt a rule change in the future. But what the play was a backwards pass that was deflected by a Rams player into the end zone. So it was a fumble deflected forward by the defense, not advanced by the offense, and that is key. I don't think you can pick up the ball and go forwards, but Zach Charbonnet was in the end zone before he picked up the ball. He picks it up. He's just standing there. He thinks, I'm just picking up the ball because it's on the field. And they say, no 2-point conversion. You have
what about
failed.
the whistle? What about the whistle? Because you had the whistle, and that's something that everyone brings up.
If there was a whistle and they didn't replay that end of things, if there was a whistle that blew the play dead, the play is blown dead. At the end of the day, that is it. You cannot have the play go on after the whistle and count because, well, what stops it the next time when a quarterback's running in slides? What stops him from, I didn't give myself up, or something stupid like that? So if the whistle had blown, which, in real time I thought it had, they said in the replay that it hadn't. I honestly can't speak to that. I don't remember. I haven't watched it enough to know. But it seems to me like if the whistle blew, the play is dead. That's how it is for every other call that they make. It should have been the case in this one if they did blow the whistle. The call was technically correct if they didn't blow the whistle, but I think in the future it's going to be, hey, it was a fumble, it was knocked forward, you don't advance it if you recover it kind of thing, because to tie the game on that play is utterly ridiculous. I get it was legal. I get it was accurately called. But for that to be like, oh, yeah, that was a successful play. No, that can't be allowed.
And the whole thing is that
one. But yeah,
Sam Darnold knows. The whole thing that Sam Darnold knows from last year, Ryan, with his experience with the Vikings, is that they need to be in a very advantageous position, as in Reed by 1 or 2 seed have control of their destiny, because he knows that if they go into the playoffs like they did last year with the Vikings, lose, and then they're going to be ousted and lose early because of the regular season loss that ended up setting up where they were going to go into the playoffs, and that affected absolutely everything. So he knows that they have to control their own destiny.
Yeah, we saw it last year, and he was getting cooked at halftime. Oh, he can't win the big game. He shuts down the big game. He can't handle the pressure because they were not looking good offensively. And then it turned around. He got the job done. They get the win. Again, they moved to the 1 seed for now. There are still 3 weeks to go. Seattle has a much tougher schedule the rest of the way. But if they win out, they are going to be the NFC West champions and almost certainly the 1 seed. Or if they win out, definitely the 1 seed, I should say. All right. Because my voice is bad, we're going to go through fairly quickly.
We're going to go through the picks very quickly, and then we'll have a very quick final thoughts.
Yes. Now, I will say this. We are doing this during the Philadelphia-Washington game. Our picks were made beforehand for me, it's going to be Philadelphia. We're not going to talk much about the game because it's 3/4 of the way over. Philadelphia is obviously the better team. It's the pick here. Without Jaden Daniels, this offense was going to struggle for the Washington Commanders. The defense for the Eagles has been stepping up and playing really well, and I think his offense is beginning rolling. I'm taking Philadelphia. Joel, go ahead.
Yeah, Commanders shutting down Jaden Daniels. It's just hard having any kind of confidence in the team at all, and they just look like they're one of the teams that have given up the ship. And I think the Eagles should right the offense here.
Yeah, I think it's what 16-14 right now, Eagles. So close game either way.
21 to 10. Eagles.
All right, not bad. Next up, it's Green Bay at Chicago, a rematch from a couple of weeks ago. The Green Bay
Josh
Packers
Johnson.
are going to have Josh Jacobs.
Josh Jacobs, not Josh Johnson. Wrong Josh.
Yeah, you're thinking of the one in the game for the Commanders.
Josh Jacobs, exactly.
Yeah, he is going to be playing tonight. That is a big, big boost for the Packers. Joel, what's the line on this one?
For the Eagles, line was 11-5. For the Packers, it was Bears minus 1.5 favorites.
Bears at home, our favorite, have the better record, did lose to Green Bay a couple of weeks ago. For the Packers, with Josh Jacobs in, you're going to play him. Christian Watson, I believe, is also active, so he is playable as well for Chicago.
Correct.
Noah
He is
Dunze,
active.
yeah, Noah Dunze, no Luther Burden, so DJ Moore gets a huge bump, and then Swift Monongai and Colston Loveland at the tight end position are all playable as well. Joel, big game in the NFC North. Who do you got?
Yeah, I know you have to make the case against the Bears. You have the minus 1.5, meaning Vegas really tends not to believe a lot in them. But I just have a hard time believing in the Packers having the soul sucked out of them with Micah Parsons gone for the year. And I think that's really going to affect them in a big time. I know they still have offense, but I think the Bears can still ground and pound their way to a win. I'm going with the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, this one's a tough one for me. I'm actually going to be on the side of Green Bay. I just think they're a better team throughout. I think they have a better coaching staff, a more experienced coaching staff in this situation. They're going to want to get the job done. They're going to want to be performing well. And the Bears have a little brother syndrome right now to the Packers, and I think that continues. I think Green Bay gets done in a prime time game. I think this is buried in the 1 o'clock slate. I'd probably go with Chicago, but I think when you have prime time, that extra pressure, that's going to cause the little bit extra difference. That's going to be the Green Bay victory. Next up, we go to the battle for the top of the NFC South. It's Tampa Bay at Carolina.
Tampa Bay, of course, the favorite minus 3 here, Ryan.
Yeah, that not you said Carolina or Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay, the favorite in Carolina. Okay. For the Bucks, you're going to play Mike Evans. You're going to play Emeka Ibuka and Bucky Irving. I think Chris Godwin is playable as well, along with Baker Mayfield in some matchups. For the Panthers, Rico Dowdle is still the number one running back. He is in play for you. Tanner McMillan, if he plays, I know he's had a little bit of an injury this week, but he will, if he plays, still be in your lineups. Big game for both teams. Joel, who do you got?
I'm betting that the Bucks are getting the message that head coach Todd Bowles sent in a very fiery and very expletive-filled press conference last week. One of the first times this entire season, the Bucks have 0 folks on the injury report, which is very good going into this game. And yeah, I just think the Bucks can get it done finally because they know they need to sweep the Panthers to control their own destiny so that they can go ahead and claim the NFC South. What do they do beyond that? I'm not really sure. But yeah, I think you got to pick the Bucks here. I know you have some people making case for the Panthers, but yeah, I think the Bucks finally have all their horses back. Their defense, yeah, but yeah, that offense is the key here. Picking Bucks on the road.
I'm going to take the home team. I am going to take Carolina at home. They've been much better. They have been a team that has been surging. I think they kind of looked ahead last week, and I don't think they're going to make that mistake at home. There's too much on the line. And frankly, I think this is a true coin toss style of game. So in that respect, I'm just going to take the home team. And I would rather see Tampa Bay in the playoffs. I'd rather see Tampa Bay win this game. I just have a feeling it's going to be a home and home split kind of thing. And this one happens to be in Carolina, so I'm going to go that way. Next up, a game that doesn't need a whole lot of analysis: Buffalo at Cleveland.
Yeah. This is a. I know you're shocked to find out that Buffalo is 10.5 favorites, right?
Yeah, it should be a
Yeah, but
close game, I'm sure.
I think both of us are pretty much locking in the Buffalo Bills, especially after how they absolutely trounced the Patriots in the second half last week. So, yeah, I know Miles Garrett's going to be chasing that sack record, but they're still the Browns, it's still the factory of sadness. I'm locking in the Bills.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills as well. You're going to play Josh Allen and James Cook in this game. Maybe Quinchon Judkins, if he gets enough work, he can be good. But it's not a great fantasy matchup unless you're playing the Buffalo defense as well. Moving on to the Chargers and the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas.
Yeah, that'd be the Cowboys minus 1.5 favorites at Jerry World, Ryan.
Yeah, I buy that. For the Chargers, you're going to be playing Marion Hampton. You're able to play pretty much all of the wide receivers if you are in a pickle, and you can play Aronde Gaston. For Dallas,
Even
George Pickens, CeeDee Lamb, Javonte Williams, and Dak Prescott in the lineup.
you mean all the wide receivers, even McConkey? Even McConkey?
Probably even more conky.
Yeah, for this
So, Joel, who do
one,
you got?
yeah, you got Chargers, you got Cowboys, and I know you can make the case for the Cowboys. Technically, he's still alive, so you're telling me there's a chance. But yeah, I think the Chargers really stepped up and showed up big time against the Eagles, and they showed that their defense is the unit to fear just as much as their offense and their one-handed quarterback right now, though it's still in a dominant hand. So that's the good hand to have control over. But yeah, I've got to pick the Chargers here. I think they have the better defense. Their offense is more lethal. We're not sure about the Cowboys. You have CeeDee Lamb coming off of the injury. We're not sure what's going on with George Pickens. I'm picking the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Chargers as well. I kind of think Dallas is about to fold like a cheap tent. When they're out of contention, I can see the diva nature uh, of Pickens coming through to the forefront. That can cause some distraction. And frankly, this is a team that's on borrowed time. Even if Philadelphia does find a way to lose tonight, if Dallas doesn't win out, they're toast anyways. If Philly wins, I think it's about over anyways. So I'm going to take the Chargers and move on. Next up, it is the Jets in New Orleans. New Orleans has to be favored at home because the Jets look like a sinking ship, and New Orleans is on the move.
The New Orleans were trying to scroll. Hang on.
All right.
They're not. I'm trying to find them. Okay, come on. Saints. Where are you, Saints? Okay, they're not on here. Hang
You
on. We
just
have
say.
to go to another source.
All right,
We have to
I'll
go to
start
another
breaking this down.
source. And
Garrett Wilson has been shut down for the rest of the season, so it's only Brees Hall
for some
really for
reason,
the Jets. I hear you.
0.5 home favorites. Not surprisingly, because Tyler Shuck is pretty good.
Yeah, he's been great since he took over the starting role. He is 3-3, should be 4-2, but he's been a much better option than Spencer Rattler. Basically, playing for his opportunity to play next year. Again, for the Jets, it's really just Brees Hall, and even that's a little bit dicey. For the Saints, you can play Olave. You can play Tyler Shuck in this game if you're very, very desperate at the quarterback position. I think Juwan Johnson is a decent play here as well. In New Orleans defense, it's still going to be Brady Cook at quarterback, so the New Orleans defense could be a very sneaky play. Question is, who do you got in this game?
Yeah, this one is just you're trying to make the case for the Jets. Remember when you were trying to make the case for the Saints so many weeks ago, it seemed, but yeah, because you look at the Saints' home record and you're going, yeah, but you also look at the Jets' away record and you're going, oh, that's even worse. So yeah, you got to pick Tyler Shuck. He's doing all that voodoo magic and Nola, and he's doing crazy stuff that you never thought you'd see from the Saints. And the Jets are once again the old acronym just end the season. Got to go with the Saints in here.
Yeah, I'm taking the Saints. I think the Saints are. I don't think they're going to obviously catch either of Carolina or Tampa Bay, but mathematically they still can. I think they're going to get uncomfortably close if one of these teams gets swept. If Tampa or Carolina gets swept, I think the object in the rearview mirror is going to be closer than it appears with the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to take New Orleans because they are the better team, because they have the better offense and defense right now. And I just think the Jets need to move on to next season, get a new quarterback. The rest of this one is just kind of a waste, especially if they're going to be playing Brady Cook at quarterback. Next up, it's Minnesota at the New York Giants.
And we have, believe it or not, Minnesota minus 2.5.
Yeah, Minnesota not a big surprise as the favorite. The Giants are the number one pick right now in the NFL draft. For the Vikings, man, it's hard to recommend anybody just because Justin Jefferson's been that bad.
He's just been neutered recently.
Like, if you're still in the playoffs and you're playing Justin Jefferson, I don't know what voodoo magic you've got in the rest of your roster, but it's not great. It's something I wish I had. But I think Aaron Jones is playable in this one. The Giants' run defense is not great. Justin Jefferson is still a good player. If they can get that connection, this is a great matchup. But it just hasn't worked out for so long. You start to worry. Jalen Naylor's been outperforming him on the field. Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson, these guys that have been kind of on the back burner, they're starting to come into their own, and Justin Jefferson's being left behind on this offense. I don't get it. I don't understand why that's happening. It is what it is. All those guys I mentioned are options to play as well. For the Giants, it's going to be Tyrone Tracy, and it's going to be Wan'Dale Robinson and Theo Johnson. Jackson Dart in a pinch as well. Who do you got?
Yeah, this one's the one that doesn't really mean much for either of these two teams, but for some reason, Minnesota seems to be getting behind J.J. McCarthy, maybe trying to prove that he's their man going forward. Not sure what it is. The Giants make things exciting, but they just can't seem to win. So, and again, it really doesn't mean crap. I got to pick Minnesota.
Yeah, I think it means a lot more for the Giants to lose than it would for the Vikings to win. So I think Minnesota's going to get the win. I think Minnesota wants to win. They want to see what they've got in J.J. McCarthy. They want to see what they've got going forward because they got to make a quarterback change. They're going to want to do it sooner rather than later. And the Vikings have looked a lot better in the last few weeks. So I think they get a job done once again, and they get another win. Moving on to Kansas City at Tennessee. This one is not the game we expected. No Patrick Mahomes. This could be a little more uncomfortable, but all things considered, the Chiefs are still the Chiefs. The Titans are still the Titans. For the Chiefs, you're going to still be able to play Travis Kelce. About it. I mean, no Rashee Rice in this matchup, so good luck at the wide receiver position for Tennessee. This I feel like it's just Kansas City's defense and check out. But what's the line on this game?
Yeah, but this one is just as a rough matchup. I mean, I know you might be thinking to yourself, is this a possible smash start to do the Titans? But I'm not that risky. I'm not that daring. I still think the Kansas City defense and whatever remains of the Kansas City offense that they're rolling out on the field is still better than a horrible Titans team we've seen all year. I'm picking the Chiefs. It's not a confident pick. I'm not liking it, but I can't pick Titans. I'm sorry.
Gardner Minshew has been a competent enough NFL quarterback. I think he can go in and run this offense decently for a game against Tennessee. If they were playing Buffalo, if they were playing Denver, Jacksonville, one of these teams has got a really solid defense and a very good offense, I'd be a lot more concerned. But it's Tennessee. I think they can still move the ball, and that defense will have opportunities to make big plays. I think Kansas City's defense gets it done. Next up, what might be one of the more entertaining games of the day, both possible shootout, and what the hell is going to go on long term. It's Cincinnati at Miami.
Yeah, Cincinnati, Miami, you end up definitely having two teams here that you're trying to figure out what's going on with both of them. And the Bengals, Ryan, 4.5 favorites on the road somehow.
Makes sense. It's Quinn Ewers at quarterback, not Tua Tagovailoa for the Dolphins. The Bengals, you're still playing Burrow, you're still playing Chase.
Yeah.
Should be. Haven't seen officially about T Higgins, but I believe he is scheduled to come back. Let me see if I can find that real quick. And they're
I
going to be
think
playing Chase Brown
I think I
as
saw he's
well.
out again.
Is he out again? I gotta check
I
because
think
he's
think
still
I saw
officially
something that he's out
questionable.
again this week.
Questionable after a full practice. He still has a projection in sleeper. That's usually a good sign. Not a guarantee he's going to play, but it looks like that he's got a shot at it at least. So uh, probably worth moving him to a flex position in a game tomorrow and not waiting on it. But with that said, that's done. For the Dolphins, I think it's Achane and check out. Maybe if you're desperate, you've got Waller or you've got Waddle. But either one of those with Ewers is someone you want to be counting on. It is a bad Cincinnati defense. It is possible that Quinn Ewers comes in and has some juice, but at the same time, it is possible that it's possible it's more of a shootout than we expect. So, Joe, who do you got?
Oh yeah, for this one, I know you can make the case for the Dolphins if Tua was behind, but oh, not with the change. Yeah, you got to even with all the sad ERs that Joe Burrow seems to be giving off. He even had there was a billboard that went up wanting them to clean house in Cincinnati and save Burrow, and I'm like, somebody obviously has a lot of money, but yeah, you're picking Cincy here. I just don't see how you have any hope with the Dolphins. Achane can't do everything himself. He needs to have someone who is able to throw the ball behind the center, and I don't think that's going to be the case this week or for the rest of the year. Picking Cincy.
Well, I think he'll be. I think Ewers will be fine with Achan and the screen passing game. It's those deeper shots that I'm not sure I'm going to be counting on. I'm taking Cincinnati as well. I kind of think we see Miami have a rollover game now they've been eliminated from the playoffs. Their long streak is over and Tua is out. I do kind of think we see this team not have the same effort they have in the last few weeks. And I think Cincinnati, with sad Joe Burrow, they're going to want to get a win to raise morale, move things the right direction for 2026. And I think they get the job done in Miami. Next up, Atlanta at Arizona.
Yeah, Battle of the Birds. Arizona's the -3 favorites. Ryan.
Arizona -3. Okay. They're the home team that makes some sense, but it's very hard to believe in Arizona because they've blown so many games. But then again, Atlanta is known for choking away games. Drake London is returning to the lineup. That is a big thing for the Falcons. But him, Bijan, Kyle Pitts, all in your lineup for the Cardinals. Let me see
Cardinals. You have
about Marvin Harrison Jr.
the Cardinals.
Is
Harrison.
Harrison playing?
Yeah, he was saying that he's going to play even if he's injured.
All right, set to benefit from high volume. Yeah, he's set to return. So Harrison's an option, even though Michael Wilson has the better connection with Jacoby Brissett, and Brissett is in your lineup. Bam Knight on the IR. I don't know if you want to even look in the backfield for this matchup for the Cardinals. And obviously, Trey McBride is in your lineup as well. Joe, who do you have?
Yeah, this one I don't see how you make the case for the Cardinals at all. Falcons, especially if you have Drake London back, that gives Kirk Cousins more weapons, and I think it might be a little bit of a letdown after what the Falcons did last week with the utter collapse against my Bucks. But I think they tend to keep rolling, and as the Cardinals, so I don't see how you trust them. I'm picking Falcons.
Yeah, I'm taking the Falcons as well, mostly because of what you just said. I don't know how you can trust Arizona. They've blown too many leads, they've blown too many games. And Atlanta's looked good at times. I mean, they really have all season long looked good in moments. Arizona's looked good in very, very few flashes. So I'm going to take
When
the
they
team I
beat the
think
Bills,
is at least a little bit better. Yeah, I think I'm going to take the team that just looks a little bit better and take the Falcons. Moving on to Jacksonville at Denver, a big matchup for the top few picks, or top few slots in the AFC playoffs. Joel, what's the line here?
Denver Broncos home minus 3.5 home favorites, Ryan.
All right, home team makes sense to be the favorite there. For Jacksonville, Travis Etienne is in your lineup, but it's a tough matchup, so tread lightly. I think Jacoby Myers has earned a spot in most lineups. Trevor Lawrence, this is a very tough matchup. This seems to be when he normally would wilt in the past, but he's been on such a heater. You at least got to give it some consideration. And Brian Thomas Jr., maybe not the best performer all year, but he's been better the last couple of weeks. He should be in your lineups as well. For Denver, it's going to be RJ Harvey, Cortland Sutton, and Bo Nix, and check out of this one. Joel, who do you got?
Yeah, I know it's real easy to fall in that trap, especially with that insane game Trevor Lawrence had last week. You're like me, you're going, oh, why didn't I start him in fantasy? And you're hitting your head against the wall. I don't think you can expect quite that same performance this week. So you just temper your expectations with T-Law. Still start him, but it's sort of like a Bo Nix thing when Bo Nix was really riding high, and everyone's like, "Yeah, let's start him," and then the next week he sort of ground to a halt. Yeah, but Jaguars going into Mile High Stadium, Ryan, it's just hard going against Mile High. They have not lost at home yet this season, and even with as high flying as the Jacksonville Jaguars can be, I think the Denver Broncos defend Mile High and they win again, and they hand Jacksonville a loss for the weekend. I think it's a good game. Could be a shootout, could be a little bit of a defensive slugfest, but I think Denver emerges victorious.
I'm taking Jacksonville. I think this is going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a well fought game. I kind of think Denver comes out a little flat after that Green Bay matchup. They're maybe a little high on their supply after a big win last week. I think Jacksonville, even though they are a top team in the AFC, the name value versus Jacksonville and Green Bay, I don't think it speaks. And I think Denver just comes out a little flat. Jacksonville gets on top of them early. It's a battle for Denver to come back. They've done that really well this year, but I think Jacksonville's a better team, and I think Jacksonville gets the job done, mostly because Denver comes out a little flat. If they come out hot, I don't necessarily agree that Jacksonville can't win the game, but I definitely think it's a harder, more uphill battle than it is right now. Next up, Pittsburgh at Detroit.
And we have the Detroit Lions -7 home favorites, Ryan.
-7 home favorites as that's a big line for two teams that have pretty much the same record. Pittsburgh, Jalen Warren should be in your lineup. DK Metcalf, and you can play one of those tight ends. They seem to get open all the time. Aaron Rodgers is a risky play, but could have some big upside. For Detroit, it's Gibbs. Don't worry about last week's little bit of a stinker. He will come back and play much better. Um, who else? Who else? Obviously, you're playing Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams. They've been great. Goff, a little bit risky play, but should be in the lineup as well. Monty probably on the outside looking into most lineups, but a still very good player. Joel, who do you got?
Yeah, I know you could make the case for the Pittsburgh Steelers after they absolutely stomped the crap out of your fish on Monday Night Football, but yeah, I don't think you're going to do that to the Detroit Lions. The Lions have a little bit more competent offense than the Miami Dolphins do. They have a lot more weapons. Might not have Sam Laporta, but you have JMO, you have the Sun God back into it, locked and loaded. You have Sonic and Knuckles ready to go, even though Jim Mayer did kind of wondering what's going on with him last week. He sort of boom or bust recently, it seems, just with fantasy, but yeah, I'm looking at the better offense. I know you can make the case for the Steelers defense, but you got to go with the Lions. Then that offense rolling at home at Ford Field. Sorry, Pittsburgh. This ain't Hines. I'm picking the Lions.
Yeah, I'm taking the Lions as well. I agree with you in pretty much every way you just said that. They are stepping up in competition. Detroit is a more desperate team because they need to win out to have any shot at the playoffs realistically. They need a lot of help still at that as well. Pittsburgh, One game up on Baltimore, has the head-to-head later in the season. So if they beat them later in the season, they're probably getting the top seed in that division, the AFC North. I think Detroit's just the better team. Jahmyr Gibbs has been 3 touchdowns or no touchdowns. He's been on a back and forth trip. This would be the 3-touchdown week if it pans out. So I'm going to take Detroit. Next up, Houston hosting Las Vegas. Probably not a lot of analysis here.
Yes, I know you're absolutely shocked to hear that. Are you ready for this one? Minus 14.5 home favorites for the freaking Texans and $14 money line. Ooh, boy.
And what's the over-under on this one?
That would be 37.5. Not a whole lot.
And they're favored by 14. That's not a big number for the Raiders because they don't score a lot of points. Obviously, for Vegas, Brock Bowers, probably the best lineup play on this roster. Aston Genty, I don't think you can play him this week. I really don't. I don't think there's anybody outside of Brock Bowers you're considering for the Raiders. Houston's defense is a smash play, as well as Nico Collins, as well as Woody Marks if he plays. It looks like he's going to. Double check that while Joel gives his pick here. Sorry, while I give my pick here. I believe he should be playing. Let me find out.
Well,
Where's Woody
I
Marks?
don't know. I'm
Questionable.
thinking about I'm thinking about the Raiders. Not. Yeah, you got to pick the Texans unless you're on something. So yeah, you're picking the Raiders, and you're also wondering if they're going to get more than
You mean the
75 total
Texans?
yards.
You mean the
Uh,
Texans?
yeah, picking the Texans because you're wondering if the Raiders are going to get more than 75 total yards this week. I am not picking the Raiders.
Oh,
I'm
apparently there's a
picking the
brawl during
Texans.
the football game that's going on now. All right, yeah, I'm taking the Texans as well. Nico Collins in your lineup. He's going to be just fantastic, and we move on. Sunday night
I'm
football,
taking
New
the
England at Baltimore. Yeah, I got you for
Texans.
Houston.
Okay, I'm just
Next
making
up is
sure.
New England
Yeah.
at Baltimore. New England at Baltimore.
Ravens -3 home favorites.
All right, Vegas still buying the Ravens. For the Patriots, you're going to play both the running backs if you've got one of them, Drake May as well. And it's been mostly Stephon Diggs and Booty in the wide receiver game. I think that's about all you've got there. For Baltimore, Derrick Henry is a decent play, not the best matchup, but he's too good to bench at this point. You're also going to be playing Lamar Jackson and likely Andrews and likely. Even though they both let you down last week in a better matchup, someone's got to get open for the Baltimore Ravens to have a chance. Joel, do they?
Yeah, I've got for this game. It's you can kind of go back and forth. I tell you, I'm picking the Patriots here because I know you can make the case for Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry for the Ravens, but with the Patriots, you also have Ramondre Stevenson and Trevion Henderson, who has been an absolute freaking rookie super sensation this year. We're talking franchise record numbers already. And you have two tanks, you have one tank because Lamar Jackson's still recovering from that toe. He's not himself. He's not. The battle station is not fully operational. Yeah, Patriots still want to grab that crown that was denied to them last week by the Bills. They got to go through the Ravens, and I think they do that this week. I'm picking the Patriots.
I'm on the Patriots as well. They are, I believe, a team that's going to take off once again. Baltimore's hasn't been that good of a team this year, and I think when Baltimore's played some lesser teams, they've been very good. So I take New England to win. Last up, San Francisco at Indianapolis.
As of course, you have the 49ers, not surprisingly, minus 5.5 road favorites because of Grandpa Rivers, Ryan.
Yeah, Grandpa Rivers really nerfs this passing game for the Colts. It's just going to be Jonathan Taylor. You can't trust Jalen Warren. You can't trust the wide receivers because you can't trust Philip Rivers. Those are still good options on the outside. If they have a competent quarterback and throw the ball, they don't have that right now. For the 49ers, it's going to be Kittle, it's going to be Jennings, and it is going to be Christian McCaffrey. And I believe Brock Purdy is a solid play. as well. San Francisco, a favorite on the road, not a surprise. Indianapolis is crumbling, but they're still a team with a shot at the playoffs and a lot of pride. So who do you got?
Yeah, you're looking at both of these teams' last 5 games going in complete different directions. Indianapolis Colts 1-4, 49ers 4-1. Colts Daniel Jones with the brutal injury, having to bring in Philip Rivers. And meanwhile, on the other hand, 49ers, it doesn't matter what's going on. They have all the Brandon Ayuk craziness. They just keep winning, and I think they do on Monday night again. Here, and another win, 49ers somehow smoke and mirrors, even with all the injuries, and they just keep winning inexplicably, Ryan.
Yeah, this one's not a big surprise. I'm taking San Francisco as well. I do think the implosion for Indianapolis is going to continue. Unfortunately for them, they've lost too much, too many pieces, especially Daniel Jones. I just don't see a way they can beat a good team like San Francisco. San Francisco still fighting for not only the division but the 1 seed. If they can win out, I believe they get the 1 seed because I think they close against Seattle. They would have the tiebreaker in that case. So a lot for them to play for, and I think they get the first step towards that done with a win on Monday Night Football. Joel, let's go to you for final thoughts.
Final thought, just one. We all remember last Thursday that epic, historic 28-14 collapse that the Bucks defense ended up doing in that fourth quarter, and all of a sudden the Falcons won the freaking game. How did that happen? And then all of a sudden the Bucks dodged a literal playoff bullet with the Panthers getting upset by the New Orleans Saints, the teams that beat them last week, helped them unintentionally this past week by beating the Panthers and keeping things as they are now. What that means, the Bucks, no injuries going into this game. You got Mike Evans back. He's accepted that his 1,000 win streak for the from 1,000 yards
Yardage.
every year,
It's dead.
it's gone. It's over. Yeah, put it to rest now. But what you also need to put to rest? The 3rd and 28. Todd Bowles being pissed off beyond all recognition at the players. What they need to do is that they want to start to come together right now, as the song goes. And they need to win. They need to go into Carolina Panthers. They need to put all that crazy crap behind them. They need to not think about next week, not think about last week. Let's just win this week. Think about what's next after this week, but they need to win. They cannot have 2 horrible wins back to back when it is this close to crunch time this year if they have any designs on winning the NFC South. Period. Let's hope they got the message head coach Todd Bowles was giving them in that very fiery press conference that had a few expletives in it. And let's see if the Bucks got the message and they can get a win in Carolina. That's the mission. Get the win and fire the cannons, even though I know they're away from home, and raise the flag in Carolina. Go get them, Bucks. I know you can do it. That's my final thought.
Yeah, my final thought is just going to be I am ready for the Dolphin season to be over. Also, I think next year we need to stop having bad teams in the college football playoffs. If there's not a worthy group of 5 team just because they
You mean you
won
mean you mean
something,
you mean Tulane is not good?
they didn't show up very good at the very least. So let's just say if you don't have a
Let's keep
great
it
group
out
of
there.
5 team to like if USF goes 12-1 with their only loss to Miami, like they could have done, and you've beat some power conference teams, go ahead. But Tulane was I think a 3-loss team. No, don't do that. That kind of ruins the entire thing. So yeah, don't do that anymore because it went poorly. And that's my final thought. And because my voice is so bad, I'm just going to wrap it up now. I am Flying Ryan Gilchrist along with
Tampa Motormouth and Joel Rowan.
next week being Christmas. We'll be back at some point to do a show. Maybe one, maybe two. We'll do them before the Christmas games at the very least. But with that, we go.